Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the podcast. I am your gracious host, Xavier Miller, and we're going to get right into the show. But before I start, I would like to advise all the listeners, watchers, everybody that's paying attention to what's going on, please subscribe, like, leave a 5-star rating, review. If you guys could do all those things, as y'all know, I would greatly appreciate it. And getting right into it. So today, as y'all know, if y'all listening to this today, some of y'all may hear this a week from now. Some of y'all may hear this a month from now. But as of today is election day. It's November 5th, 2024. This is a very important election. So first, I would like to advise everybody to, if you haven't already, get out there and vote. Make your vote count, no matter which way you vote. Go ahead and vote. I ain't here to tell nobody what to do or how to do it. But I think everybody should exercise their rights. And this is, like I said, this is an important election. So people should go out there. And one thing, let's be clear. I want to say this too, just for the people. However you vote, do what's best for you, do what's best for your family, do what aligns with your spiritual or and religious beliefs, and don't have no shame about it. I don't care which way it is, which way you vote. Stand on it. Don't let nobody shame you into doing something against your own interests or doing something that you don't want to do. Stand on your beliefs, no matter which way it is, whatever aligns with your core values, with your vision, your family vision, your family goals. Go that route. Don't be ashamed about it, no matter which way it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have respect for you as long as you stand on what you believe in. The point blank period. But let's get into it because, like I said, this is a very important election, and this is Millionaire Mindsets podcast. So I feel like it was only right that I do an episode on this when it comes to the tax plans and each candidate's policies that they're proposing to the general public. And this is a episode that I've been working on at least for about a week and a half now. I wanted to get this episode out um days ago, prior to the election, but I did a lot of research. As y'all know, I'm not a tax accountant or an expert, but I'm a business owner. I pay taxes. I pay a lot in taxes, and then I leaned on my expert friends, as I call them, my CPA friends, my tax advisors. That's killing it in their business and industry, but they necessarily may not be on social media or don't have big followings on social media. So I leaned on them for a lot of advice, counsel, insight regarding this video, just so I can get all the correct information to you guys, my audience. Y'all know how important that is to me, how much I value that. So we're gonna get it right to them. We're going to discuss both tax plans. We're gonna discuss. Excuse me, I'm getting tongue twisted. We're gonna discuss Trump's tax plans, and we're gonna discuss Kamala's tax plans. And but before I start this, I want to let y'all know that either way, no matter who wins this election, there will be huge tax changes next year because many of the tax provisions that was put into place in 2017 they will expire at the end of 2025. So even if nothing happens, and no matter who wins, there will be huge changes to the tax code coming soon. So I just want to let y'all know that firsthand. But and getting right to it, we're gonna first dive into Kamala's tax plans. And as you know, or many who don't know, hers is labeled as the opportunity economy. This is what she calls it. And her tax plans will be largely directed at new businesses, families with newborn children, low income, and first time homeowners. That's who largely will be affected or impacted the most, or benefit the most, I should say, from her tax plan. So her first thing is we're gonna dive into is capital gains tax. So Kamala, she plans to tax unrealized gains for the ultra wealthy for families with a net worth of at least 100 million plus, and they would owe an annual wealth tax of up to 25%. So for those who don't understand that, for unrealized gains, it's basically hypothetical money. It's money that's not in your pockets, or you haven't, it's unrealized. So her plan is to tax 25% of that, but only if your net worth is up to 100 million. Now, some people they're gonna hear that and gonna say, okay, this don't apply to me. That's irrelevant, because I see a lot of people say things like that, like, oh, that's irrelevant. That's only for super wealthy people. But what you got to understand is things usually when it comes to taxes and taxing the American people, things usually start with the plan to only tax the ultra wealthy, and then it eventually slowly trickles down to everybody else. If you understand the history of the income tax, and many people don't know this because we live in America, we might be young millennials or boomers or Gen Z, whatever you is, we may think that these things were in place forever. When the realization is this. So income tax, when it started, it was only supposed to be for the wealthy. Now over like 60%, if I'm not mistaken, 60% of families pay income tax now. But when it started, it was only for the wealthy. So historically, in 1862, President Lincoln he signed into law a revenue raising measure to help pay for Civil War expenses. And in 1894, only 1% of Americans met the threshold to pay income tax. And like I said, today, 60% of American households pay it. So usually when these things happen, it trickles down. Like if she taxes unrealized, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I'm just giving y'all some historical information and data on what typically happens when these policies put in place directed at the wealthy. It usually goes down to everybody else. So when you tax unrealized gains, I'm gonna give y'all an example. Let's say if you own some crypto or you own some crypto, you own some stocks. You got $50,000 worth of stocks, but it's in your portfolio now. The value went up to 60, 70, $100,000, but you haven't cashed out yet. Those stocks are still sitting on your portfolio. Kamala, she wants to tax you on those unrealized gains. And as of now, she wants to tax the ultra wealthy. But like I said, usually these things trickle down. So that's one of her first things that she's proposing. And the second one is she wants to raise long-term capital gains from 20 to 28% for those making 1 million per year. So that means higher earners will pay a 33% of capital gains, which will be the highest long-term capital gains tax rate since 1978. And that applies to real estate, stocks, crypto, whatever investment, all those things you got. She wants to raise it from 20% to 28%. Now, some people, depending on who you are, some people, like I said, everybody everybody don't make $1 million. So a lot of people will hear this and they be like, well, this don't apply to me, or I don't care. Or some people, let's say this, some people really don't mind paying taxes. I'm not one of those people. Some people don't mind paying higher taxes, I should say. Me personally, I'm not one of those people. I think I'm a believer that I can do better with my money than the government can do. But I know some people, they believe in paying higher taxes. So if you believe in paying higher taxes, you may be a high income earner, a million plus, this might not even concern you that much. But also, we're going to get into corporate taxes. So Kamala's plan is to raise corporate taxes from 21% to 28%. And the plan it does not wait, excuse me. So the plan does not raise individual income tax for people making less than 400,000. So that's a plus. That is something that I am a fan of. She does not plan on, if you make less than 400,000 annually, she does not plan on raising income taxes on you at all, which is keep your money. Like I said, I'm a believer that I can do better with my money than the government could do. So I'm not mad at that at all. She also wants to eliminate taxes on tips for hospitality and service workers. That's also a big thing. So if you a hospitality worker, you service work, you at a restaurant, you a bartender, you a maid, all these different positions, she wants to eliminate the taxes on tips. So this can help keep a lot of money in people's pocket. That is a big thing. And originally, that proposal was originally proposed by Trump. And I guess Kamala, she's her team, they must like that because that's actually a good one. I'm not that's a good proposal. You know what I'm saying? That's helping people keep money in their pockets, extend their wealth, be able to get homeowners, all those things. That's a good one. So, regarding Social Security taxes, she hasn't proposed any changes regarding that yet. And she hasn't proposed any changes when it comes to overtime pay. So, when it comes to overtime pay, as of now, there's no proposals on what she wants to do as far as keeping money from people working overtime, and it's the same for Social Security tax. Now, we're gonna talk about business and startups and things like that. So, she wants to increase startup expense. She wants to increase the startup expense deduction from $5,000 to $50,000 in the first year. That's a big tax deduction. So it'll be for new business owners, and they will be able to do this write off. So the cost that it costs for you to start your business, all those expenses that you may have going to your business, paying for product, paying for different things, you can write off up to $50,000. Now this is for new business owner. It does not apply to current business owners. So there's about 70 million current small time business owners or big business in America right now. 70 million. This will not apply to those. This will be strictly for new business owners. She also wants to propose up to a $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers. So this is for first-generation home buyers. Now, as of now, there's very like limited details on how this will, because some people are under the assumption that this could apply to people that maybe just haven't owned the own home in their generation, but their parents or grandparents may own the home. So there's a lot of things that people have to fizzle out to get a very clear understanding on this as of now. But as of now, this will apply to first generation homeowners, and they say it may apply to those who haven't owned a home in the last 3 years. But like I said, the details as of now, they are very vague. And now we're going to go into child tax law. So the current, when it comes to the child tax law, the current is 2K per child for qualifying taxpayer. So she plans to increase the credit to $6,000 per child under 1 year of age, $3,600 per child under the age of 6, and $3,000 per child for an older child. So, like I said, I'm gonna repeat that just for some of y'all that might catch that. She want to do a $6,000 tax credit for children under the age of 1, 3,600 for children under the age of 6, and 3,000 per child for older children. This is in my opinion, this is a great plan as well, because the expenses is very high, and we know child care costs is one of the most expensive things for people that do have children. So you can do anything to put money back in people's pocket. I think that'll help. And lastly, is she wants to increase the size of the IRS and IRS audits. So for many of y'all who may not know this, some of y'all are already aware, but in 2022, Kamala, she did a tie-breaking vote that passed the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. So this increased the IRS budget by 80 billion. 80 billion with a B, not million, billion with a B. This increased their budget by 80 billion, and it spreads out over 10 years. And 45 billion of it was to increase IRS enforcement. So basically, in layman's term, I'm gonna break this down for you. If Kamala wins the presidency, there's a more likelihood of a chance that you could potentially get audited by the IRS at some point or other. That's just my opinion. That's just what I'm saying. You may not be a believer of that, but based on the investment of increasing the IRS agents, increasing IRS enforcements, there's a likelihood that they're not going to play regarding taxes, especially people that's not on top of it, that's not playing, that basically you need to be on top of your stuff if she gets in office, because that is a very big deal, cracking down on IRS enforcement. So now we're going to go into Donald Trump's plan. And his plan will basically mostly be catered to business owners, investors, retirees, families with children, and homeowners. So, first, let's talk about this, the tax rate. So, the individual income tax rate, the Tax Cut Jobs Act, like I said in the beginning, it expires at the end of 2025. So, if Trump doesn't get into office in January, if he does get elected today, his Tax Cut Jobs Act, it expires at the end of 25, and this act, it lowered taxes for every single tax bracket in 2017, and his plan is to make it permanent if he gets back into office. And if he don't get back into office, it'll go back to what it was before 2017, which before 2017 the tax rate, it was much higher. That's why so many more people, I'll say this is part of the reason why so many more people was kind of able to save more money and have more money through 2017 and 2021, because the tax rate through all brackets was lower compared to what it is now. So Trump, he does not want to tax unrealized capital gains, and he has no changes to the long-term capital gains plan. So those unrealized capital gains I talked about earlier that Kamala plans on taxing, like the money that you don't have, she plans on potentially putting a tax on that for high net worth individuals. Trump, as of now, he has no plans of doing that. He also wants to lower the corporate income tax from 21% to 15% for companies who make their products in the USA. I like that. That's a good plan that could drive more jobs and people doing more business in America. So he also wants to prevent the individual tax cuts and job acts from expiring, which I already expounded on earlier. He wants to eliminate taxes on tips for hospitality and service workers. So that's something that So him and Kamala, they don't have many when it comes to their tax plan. They don't have a lot of things in common. Like their tax plans are very on opposing sides of one another. But this thing, when it comes to eliminating taxes on tips for social workers and for hospitality and service workers, this is something that aligns. This is something that they're both in agreement on, which is cool. Cause damn, like this election been so exhausting because it's so like opposing opposites. So this thing seems like this could be a bipartisan issue that both sides agree on, which is good because in my opinion, we need to get back to more agreements in America. We like all this fighting and stuff is so divisive and it's causing like from the outside looking in, just a side note for a second, for the outside looking in for our adversaries and enemies that may be enemies of the country, they see this as like all this divisiveness going on. It makes us more of a target. So I'm when I see things where both sides can agree on, that's a good sign to me. That's something that makes me happy because it makes the country at least on one thing come together a little bit. Like I said, there's so much divisiveness going on right now. But so he also wants to eliminate tax on Social Security. So if you're disabled, if you're retired, this qualifies to you. If you get Social Security, Trump he wants to eliminate tax, no tax on your Social Security benefits, which is that is amazing in my opinion because I think if you've been investing into Social Security all of your life and now you qualify for it, just in my opinion, it doesn't make sense for you to be taxed on something that you've been investing in all your life as an American citizen. Just my opinion. So he wants to eliminate taxes on overtime pay. And his plan, his thought process is that if there's no taxes on overtime pay, people will work longer hours and they'll work harder for the companies that they're in. So that's a cool thing. And he also wants to do a 10 to 20% baseline tariff on all goods imported to the US and a 60% on all goods imported from China. As y'all know, if you know, if you've been following this election and the economic plans, this is something that he talks about a lot when it comes to tariffs. He's also said this could potentially be used to eliminate income tax for all Americans, but we'll see. I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but we'll definitely see. We gotta see what happens. So he also plan. He has no. So Trump, as I said earlier, his plans are basically there for homeowners, families with children, retirees, investors, and business owners. And as of now, he has no plans for first time homeowners. So if you're a first time homeowner, like what Kamala, she's proposing a $25,000 tax credit for homeowners. That is not in a plan for Donald Trump. That's not something that he proposed or something like that. So he's also he has no proposal regarding regarding startup expenses, but current business owners qualify for the 20% QBI tax reduction. So that's a 20% write-off of business for current business owners already, which requires bonus appreciations, which is write-off up to 100% of business assets such as equipment, vehicles, and whatever other assets your business have. He's offering a write-up of up to 100% of those things, which if you're a business owner, y'all know if business owner listen to this, they pay taxes. Y'all know that's crazy. That's not a bad thing. So he also wants to do a work opportunity tax credit, a grants a tax credit for hiring certain types of people with this, like people like got disabilities, veterans, felons. He wants to give a tax credit to people that are hiring those types of people. And he also wants to increase the child tax credit to $5,000 per child, regardless of age. So Kamala's plans, it was $6,000 per child for the under age of 1, 3,600 per child under the age of 6, and 3,000 per child for a child of older age. And what Trump wants to do, he wants to just increase it to 5,000 per child, no matter what age it is. So depending on who you are, where you at in life, how many children you got, that can that can weigh however whatever position you in, that can weigh differently. So he also wants to do an auto loan interest. He wants to make auto loan interest 100% deductible, but it only applies to American made cars. So as of now, 100 million Americans have auto loans. 100 that's just, I mean, which is not shocking because basically everybody has a car and most people aren't buying their cars cash. They're getting a loan for it. So what he wants to do is he wants to make the interest on your car 100% deductible. I don't know if this has ever been done in the country before, but I know plenty of people they will benefit from that. So that's that's a big one, man. That's 100% deductible on auto loan interest, man. I don't know. I don't really know anybody that could be mad or too upset about that. And also, he wants to do a double taxation. So what this is, right? For those who don't know, so if you're American and you move into another country and you live in another country, because America is one of the only countries that have this law, you still have to pay your taxes here, and while you are also paying taxes in whatever country that you live in. So it's called double taxation. And what Trump wants to do, he wants to make, and this applies to people that make, you have to make $126,500 to be double taxed. So if you make that money and you qualify, he he wants to get rid of it. He wants to completely end it. He see it as an old model. And like I said, we were only countries that have this policy. But if he's able to get this approved, this proposal approved, it will make it where Americans can travel abroad, live abroad without having to worry about paying taxes in both countries. And as of now, Kamala Harris, she has no plans regarding that policy. So this is the sum of both of their tax plans that I went over. Like I said, I talked about the proposing up to 25K of the tax credit for first-time homeowners, for first-generation homeowners, excuse me, which is a big thing for if you're a first-generation homeowner, especially if you may not be from America, you migrated here from another country. That'll definitely benefit people in those positions. And I talked about all the Trump things that he's proposing. So whatever, like I said, however you feel, I don't care how people vote, but this is a business platform, a business show. I feel like it's only right for me to address these topics and bring this to light to people, just for the people that don't know, because I know so many people, they may not have the time to research these things, or they may not know experts in the fields where they can give them firsthand information and knowledge of what's going on these things. So I think it's only right to have this conversation. And like I said, I don't care. I'm one of those people, like, I'm not one of those people that's gonna be beefing with people on who they vote for. I don't care who somebody vote for it, because at the end of the day, we Americans, we all got the right to vote for how you see fit. Don't let nobody bully you. Don't let nobody shame you. Don't let nobody down talk you for doing what you want to do, what you think is best, what you think is for your family. Like I know, especially in the black community, we kind of are expected to have like this monolithic mentality when it comes to voting. And I see a lot of people get flack for voting a way that people don't want or expect them to vote. So that's the only reason why I'm saying this, because I know some people, they feel bad, or they get bullied. I've heard stories of people, parents bullying them and things like that, which is ridiculous to me. So I just like to empower people to do what they feel is best for them, for no shame. And like I said, I don't give a damn who you vote for as American. That's your right. I don't care if it's independent, libertarian. I don't care if it's Republican, a Democrat, or even if you don't vote at all, which is is how can I put it? If you don't vote at all, that's your right still too. At the end of the day, I would prefer people to actually to vote. But if you don't vote, that's your right. This is America. Nobody is forced to vote. Nobody has to vote. But it's important to put all these things in a proper perspective, in a proper context, and have a conversation around it, so people know exactly what they're proposing. And I forgot, there was there was one more thing. I knew I couldn't find it. So it was one final thing that Trump is proposing, and he has pledged this, and this is for parents that homeschool their children. So I know there are a lot of parents today that are against public school. Some are against private school. They don't trust the school system. They don't trust the programming that goes on the school system, and they want to raise their kids on their own. So Trump has proposed that for those that homeschool their children, that he will eliminate taxes up to 10,000 a year per child on all costs associated with their children's education. And that is a big one. That is very, very huge in this economy. So basically, what he's doing is he's empowering parents and empowering people to homeschool and raise and train their own children. Yeah, up to 10,000, eliminate taxes for 10,000 per child. So if you some I know some people, like my neighbors, they have 5 children that they homeschool, so they basically could get up to $50,000 tax write off per year in homeschooling expenses. So that is a huge thing, And that was the final thing I got. I was trying to look it up because I couldn't remember. I knew I was missing something, and that was the final one. But with that information, do as y'all will. I'm gonna be praying for the country. I'm gonna be praying for all of us because at the end of the day, this is the biggest thing that I want people to take away from this. No matter who wins, Kamala or Trump, at the end of the day, this is all in God's hands. So don't get so riled up. Don't get so frustrated. Don't get so angry. Don't get discouraged. Don't think it's the end of the world because they try to scare people to think if Trump wins, it's the end of the world. If Kamala wins, it's the end of the world. Like, that's not the case. At the end of the day, this is in God's hand. Whoever wins, it's in God's hand. He gonna do what he does. He gonna do what he wants to does, and whatever happen, it's gonna happen. So don't get discouraged, y'all. Don't feed into the BS, man. I know the news, they will fearmonger people to think, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Be careful out here, be smart, because there's some crazy people. No matter who wins, I expect there to be some kind of reaction that's not that positive. So be smart, be vigilant. But with that being said, remember at the end of the day that God is in control. He's in control, point blank, period. It's not the end of the world. Everything gonna be all right. Stay positive, stay optimistic. We're gonna have a great year. We're gonna have a great future. Even if we go through hard times as a country, as a people, we always bounce back. We are resilient people. We are a resilient group. We are a resilient nation. All those things. So everything gonna play out how it's supposed to play out. That's all I got for y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning into this episode. God bless. Like I said, I'm praying for every single person that listens to this, every single person in America. And I want the best for all of us. So, love y'all. That's all I got. See you guys next episode. Peace.